MAGA is big mad that Tim Walz made tampons free in schools, and yet we're the over-emotional ones. Okay, they're upset because the 2023 education law mandates that schools supply menstrual supplies to students in grades 4 through 12, and Trump is claiming that that means there are tampons in the boys' bathrooms, literally calling it the greatest threat. Heaven forbid a precious baby boy know what a tampon looks like. But basically, because the law doesn't specify which bathroom the menstrual products go in, MAGA claims this means hashtag tampon Tim wants men to play in women's sports and supports gender transition for minors. And even if he did, so what? Yes, these free menstrual products could help support trans kids, but like free menstrual products help everyone. 1 in 4 teenagers struggle to pay for period products, and so many kids miss school because they can't afford to pay for pads or tampons.
Today, Governor Tim Walz signed an executive order providing legal protection to those who come to Minnesota for gender-affirming health care. John Croman joins us now live from the Capitol with more about what prompted today's action. Hi, John.
Hey, Rena, this comes at a time when a lot of other states are passing bills that would restrict gender-affirming care or outlaw it for minors. And there's actually a bill here pending at the legislature here at the Capitol that would make Minnesota sort of a trans care refuge state. But the governor did not want to wait for that to get to his desk.
When our children tell us who they are, it is our job as grown-ups to listen and to believe them.
It was an event that had all the trappings of a bill signing ceremony. A huge crowd of lawmakers, advocates, and families, in this case, gathered in support of legal protections for people seeking gender-affirming care for themselves or their children. But the paper Governor Walz signed was an executive order. His action comes at a time when transgender persons across the nation feel under siege.
This is life-threatening.
The Iowa Senate passed a bill Tuesday.
Those in favor of the motion shall say aye.
Barring doctors from providing puberty blockers, hormone therapy, or gender-affirming surgery to anyone under 18. Mississippi passed a similar bill last week, barring gender-affirming care. In New Hampshire, there's a bill that would require schools to tell parents what their kid's gender is.
We'll make sure that Minnesota's placed as a welcoming, loving, neighborly state where you are welcome and will be free of persecution or anything else that we're trying to see in some other states.
In committee hearings, GOP lawmakers have asserted children are too young to make decisions about gender.
These are damaging, lifelong procedures.
They've also brought up custody disputes.
If one parent brings a child here for gender-affirming care and the other parent lives in Alaska, do you believe that that would be inconvenient for the parent that lives in Alaska?
Many states are asking their queer people to find 2 spaces that are comfortable, the closet or the coffin.
So they want to convince us that this will win an election in the United States of America in 2024. I got news for you. It's not going to work. It's never going to work. Okay. The mainstream media is going to lie until the cows come home, okay, to the slaughterhouse. It's not going to stop. So I want you guys to get used to hearing a bunch of crap, a bunch of outrageous lies like Kamala is smoking Trump and we just need to go and pack our bags and go home. And we just need to tuck it in and get out of there. All right, it's over. The race is over. Kamala is going to win. It's not going to happen. It's never going to happen. Why? Because Trump been smoking everybody. I think we all should know that by now. There's nobody on planet Earth right now that could beat Trump at a presidential election in a race. Nobody could do it. Okay, he's more popular. He's just a better president. The economy is awful. The economy has never been this bad before, guys, and everybody is feeling it right now. I don't care if you're a millionaire, a zillionaire, it doesn't matter. You're feeling it. You're feeling the pressure. You're seeing the costs go up on things that you never thought the cost would ever go up on. Bread, eggs, that kind of stuff. It just doesn't take that much to make that. But everything's gone up. Everybody can see that the cost has gone up. So the economy is going to be a big factor in the election. A lot of the radical positions that Kamala Harris has openly stated before in the past and which now she is flip-flopping off of, they're going to come back to bite her in the ass, because you can't say that you're going to do something. Then when it's time to get elected, you say that you're going to do something different. People aren't stupid, okay? And they feel the inflation, all right? Regular people feel the inflation harder than some of the millionaires and billionaires and people with their businesses. The extremely poor class of people here are feeling it the worst. And it's a shame. It really is despicable what they've done to the economy. And it was all purposely done. And this could be reversed right now. The part that really irks me is that Kamala Harris is saying that when she's president, she's going to fix the inflation. She's going to lower the cost. If she's in office now, guys, if she was going to lower the cost, she would have done it a long time ago. You mean to tell me her and Joe Biden have different positions on everything? You mean to tell me she's going to do the total opposite that Joe Biden has done all these years? No, she's not. She's going to do actually worse than what Joe Biden has done. In my opinion, I think that Kamala Harris will do a lot worse. I think that Joe Biden is, left, but he's closer to, I don't want to say the middle, but just like, not as far left as Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is full-blown socialist communist, okay? And so is Tampon Tim Walz. He's also the same, okay? You have to do some research on Tim Walz. I'll probably do a couple of videos on him, but he's very radical. Okay, and he's been accused of stolen valor, which is probably going to be a big topic, okay, amongst the military and the veterans. It's a really disgraceful thing to claim that you've been to war and you haven't, all right, and to lie about that and lie about your status in the military. But that's going to come back to bite him in his ass as well. All right. So I want to actually show you some of the reporting on the polls that is real. OK, I trust Charlie Kirk. I also trust Rasmussen reporting on their polls are extremely accurate. OK, and it makes a lot of sense. So I want to give you guys some hope here. All right, this is real, okay, and I think it's absolutely amazing. I want you to enjoy it till the end, because these are the real polls. Don't pay attention to what the crazy mainstream media is telling you. Take a look at this.
Joining us now is Mark Mitchell, head pollster for Rasmussen Reports. So, Mark, I don't envy you right now, because I'm sure you're doing a lot of interviews where the host is panicking and they're, Mark, tell me it's not true. Tell me it's not true. Maybe not, but at least if you had any window into my phone yesterday, I had at least 9 different people, some donors, some activists. Charlie, what's going on with this New York Times Siena poll? What's going on here? So, Mark Mitchell, tell us, what is the true state of the race, Kamala versus Trump?
Well, I think we've built up a lot of trust, and the people who are following us, let me tell you, are not freaking out, because exactly what's playing out right now in our numbers is what I predicted. Donald Trump was beating Joe Biden all year, up very comfortably. And the entire time we were polling on Kamala Harris, every time we poll, she's slightly less favorable than Biden. She underperforms him by maybe 1 point against Trump. And I said, well, if they switcheroo, like, nobody really cares on the Democrat side who the candidate is. The numbers we are going to see are the exact same before and after. Now, there's always bounces and swings happen, and we absolutely saw that in our data. We poll every night, and I tell you what, every other pollster is polling every night as well. And what they saw is the same thing I saw in my data, which is the very first night, out of the blue, everybody's like, Kamala Harris, the switcheroo happened. Donald Trump beat her by 16 nights in a matchup. 16 points. The very next night, it was down to 6 points. And then for a couple days, Kamala Harris, in our polling, actually beat Donald Trump by 2 or 3 points. But then it all faded. It's gone. The bounce is over. And we've been polling every night, putting out our big polls on Thursday. That's a cumulative aggregate of all of the data. And what I'm starting to notice is that nobody's putting out polls this week. Everybody watching this should go to Real Clear Politics and just, look at the race right now and the general election 2024 race. There have only been 2 polls put out that have data any fresher than August 4th. So what I think is happening is I think the entire polling industry is trying to carry water for the Democrats right now. There was a slew of polls that came out when she became the candidate. And you're telling me all of a sudden, 84 days to the election, she just picked her vice presidential running mate, and not a single poll except for like YouGov and Rasmussen?
And the New York Times Siena one, which was, so can you help us kind of deconstruct that one?
That one was just like 3 swing states. They picked the 3 swing states that were worse for Donald Trump. And listen, here's the thing. Trust is very important. People talk about transparency in polling. Let me tell you, if I wanted to, I could do whatever I wanted with these numbers. There's no amount of transparency that would make up for an unscrupulous pollster. And let me tell you how we're different from New York Times Siena. New York Times has a huge revenue line. They have a ton of money that they can throw at polling, and it doesn't really matter to them if they're accurate or not. If our polling is inaccurate, we go out of business. So I'm trying very hard not to be biased, to find the biases, to put out accurate numbers. And if I see no pollsters out there doing general election matchups, that tells me that they're seeing the same numbers I am, and I just refuse to publish the poll. New York Times Siena, I'm sure, was in the poll this whole last week asking general election matchups. So where are their numbers? Why didn't they put them out? Right? When are they going to stick their neck out and show that Kamala Harris, the honeymoon's gone, it's faded? There's no amount of bounce based on just press and zero accomplishments. I mean, all the questions we've asked about her record are absolutely horrible. People think she failed as a border czar. People think her economic policies are going to be way worse than Trump's. So, I mean, to me, that's the fundamentals of the race. And again, sometimes info ops are successful. They do seem to be thrown very rapidly at people, like one after the other. No, Trump didn't get shot. Yes, JD Vance is weird. Like, these things happen and they kind of work. Right now, I think pollsters are ducking and hiding and waiting for maybe the beginning of the DNC, or I don't know, maybe while we're talking right now, everybody's dropping their polls. But I just don't see how, based on where my numbers were before the switcheroo and after the switcheroo, how anybody, I mean, Trump was up like 3 points in the Real Clear Politics aggregate before the switcheroo. It's going to go right back to that if it hasn't already.
So let's just repeat. What do your numbers show right now? What does your numbers show in Arizona? What do they show in Georgia, Pennsylvania? Not the national polls, but walk us through kind of so if Donald Trump wins Pennsylvania, Georgia, he's president because he's going to win Iowa. He'll win North Carolina. He'll win Ohio. He'll win Florida. I already have those in the safe category. So therefore, if he wins Pennsylvania, Georgia, Arizona would be nice, but it's not as necessary. It's done. So let's go one by one. What is your polling show in Pennsylvania?
I just want to step back. And again, the top line national numbers. Last time we put the big one out, 5 points up Trump in a national election poll, right? So that is like a 12 or 13 points reversal from where he was 4 years ago. I just want everybody to understand that as the context for the swing states. Polling in swing states is hard, especially now that everybody goes to online panels. The online panels in the states are really small, and every swing state poll is smaller than a national poll. It's going to have a larger margin of error. We went into the swing states in July, and in every single one of the six swing states in a multi-way matchup, we had Donald Trump up from 1 point all the way up to 9 points in Arizona. We had him up 5 in Georgia. I think we had him up 3 or 4 in Pennsylvania. So we had Trump comfortably winning every single one of the swing states, closest in Michigan, tied in a two-way. But again, there's a larger margin of error there. But what's important to point out, in that poll, that particular sample, when it was all collected, Trump was winning 3 points nationally. So for Real Clear Politics aggregate to have Trump up 3 nationally, I don't care what the swing states say. They're going to probably look pretty similar to mine.
And there you have it. Simple as that. All we need to do is use logic, follow the real numbers. Before any of this polling, when we were polling Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, when Joe Biden was going against Trump, it was pretty obvious that Trump was smoking Biden like a salmon, and Kamala Harris's poll numbers looked really bad when they polled her against Trump. So they're the same, okay? They're the same. But now that the Democrats don't have anyone but Kamala Harris, yes, the mainstream media is going to run cover for her. They're going to carry water for Kamala Harris the entire time. But that does not mean that she's going to win. We're up against a machine. I'd admit that. I'd say, they got a little pull. But when people show up, real people show up, we need to start looking at these real numbers, okay? Look at what makes sense. Don't listen to these mainstream medias who've been lying from the beginning. I told you that Joe Biden was sharp as a tack, okay? Don't forget that. They've been lying about everything. They're not going to tell the truth. Now, guys, like, share, and subscribe, and let me know what you think. Please share these videos. And until the next time, we love you.